to radiodr.co.za with your girl Minnie Thusi, and today we are hanging with Nqoba Izizwe. Hey, ishe.
Jaqaza uMageba.
Nomageba wami ubuyibali kodwa kuyafana nesingisami kubuye kubale konke kuyabaleka.
Kahle kahle ulima lokho kamhlongo.
Kumele ngivede ngithule nje. Kumele ngivede ngithule because wow.
Clearly, JFM.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. I've had a very long day, but I'm here. I'm trying to push through.
Had to be here
As
because
my profession pushes me
supposed to have you last week.
Actually, but because Gogo uthanda imali.
So tell us, how did you get this name, Nqoba Izizwe?
So it happens ukuthi mongene kwiziko, and iziko is la usuke udlela khona impande yakho, la usukhombe khona ukuthi njengomlaphi or rather njengesangoma hamba yolashelwa lana. So it happens ukuthi mase uyidlela inkamba yala usuke uyidlela khona either eyothokoza eyomakhosi, kuyenzeka ukuthi phakathi kwazo lezo inkamba basha abantu abadala ukuthi hayike siyasifisa ukuthi uyibize ngogogo siphumelele ngoba iyona into bese bekufisela yona. So mabethi ugogo siphumelele waka Dlovu shuthi ke wena usuyophumelelisa igama laka Dlozi njengoba uzwa ukuthi ngoNqoba Izizwe Hlongwa, kungenzeka ukuthi mhlambe kukhona ungaboni ngaliso linye phakathi emndenini wakaHlongwa esebefisa ukuthi nginqobe izizwe eziphakathi kaHlongwa nezwe lonke jikelele. So that is how I got my name. Ngatshelwe yibona abantu abadala ukuthi they wish for me to not only conquer the world which is immediate to me and which lies before me, but all that is surrounding me. So yeah.
That is so deep, and with the so yeah.
So yeah. Spirit fingers.
It's the coolest thing ever. You mentioned there ukuthi khona you can correct me. Gogo wokuthokoza nowani nomakhosi.
Yes, so kuyahluka ke impande umuntu mesuke edlile mhlambe ihambelana nothokoza or mhlambe ihambelana nomakhosi. Othokoza are a group of izangoma that eat impande engafani neyomakhosi. So ukuzwe mekuthiwa thokoza ukuthiwa makhosi. However, because ngokuhlalisana nokubambisana sekujwayelekile ukuthi thokoza makhosi, so kugcina sekuyinto eyodwa. Kodwa ke engachaza ngeunderstanding yami ukuthi othokoza kujwayele kuba abantu abafembayo. Babonakala ngalowo mehluko ukuthi baya imfemba. Yes,
yini imfemba?
Kuke kuthiwa bayafemba ngendlela abagida ngayo. Ayifani neyomakhosi. Omakhosi bayagida, but ke okothokoza ilokho kuke bonakala sengabahlala ngezinqa and they're bouncing up and down. That's a very Shakespearean explanation for it, but that's the best way. Nanempande asuke bedlile esuke ikhiwe asuke phalaza ngayo beqhuma ngayo begeza ngayo ayifani neyomakhosi. So kahle kahle ngingasho ukuthi I don't even have an explanation for it because they are equally qualified. Kuphela ukuthi uthokoza nomakhosi.
It's different flavors almost.
It's different flavors, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's like peri lemon and herb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So bona othokoza nomakhosi is Sangoma, right?
Yes.
So what is Sangoma? I'm not going to go into your personal journey because the purpose of this interview is to get a holistic understanding of Sangoma, because a lot of people get it wrong. They just want to find out your personal journey and stuff. I just want to find out like the holistic view of it. What is Sangoma and how is it different from Inyanga?
Okay, so basically Sangoma is different from Inyanga in a sense ukuthi Sangoma is known in modern terms or Western terms as a diviner. A diviner would explain umuntu who is close to the divinity and sends messages from the divinity to the creation.
This is Sangoma.
This is Sangoma.
Okay.
So Sangoma slukile kunenyanga ukuthi Sangoma can frequent both worlds rather and carry messages from both of the worlds, and
like a medium for white people.
A medium, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's why they called diviners, because basondele nomveli nqangi and ibona basuke be divine message kuyiyona ephumayo kumveli nqangi abakini nabo bonke abayithongo idalwa ithunywa idlozi right through to you as the person who's trying to connect with all those elements. Inyanga yabo umuntu onolwazi lempande impande ilokhu kulashwa ngayo. So in layman terms isangoma udokotela okutshela ukuthi idolo likuphethe ngoba une arthritis, whereas inyanga it's okay ke na ibuprofen mina nginolwazi
alchemist.
Yes, so it's a herbalist and a diviner. Okay. However, a diviner can learn how to be a herbalist because izangoma zinalo ulwazi le nyanga, like ukuthi kini mhlambe okukwakho lakini kwakhona inyanga nesangoma uyakwazi ukuthi ube nazo iziphiwo zombili or ukufunda ukuthi okwenyanga kwenziwa kanjani. However, in a South African landscape, we've found ukuthi predominantly there's been this narrative that's been pushed ukuthi inyanga take on more masculine roles and izangoma are then fulfilled by the more feminine roles. However, that's not indlela ongasuthi this is core print, dry, you know, that's not indlela okudalwe ngayo. That's not any kind of code of conduct that needs to be followed. Mo ukuthi uyafikela isipho sokuthi wazi impande uyakwazi ukuthi ube inyanga umuntu wesifazane ukuthi ufikela isipho sokuthi ube isangoma umuntu wesilisa uyakwazi without even acting almost homosexual. Lokho kusuke kwenziwe ukuthi ungenwe ikhehla noma isalukwazi esinjani. However, just within a KwaZulu-Natal perspective, it's very important to note ukuthi those two ideas are not, they do not exist in isolation. It does not mean ukuthi the role that is played by inyanga is just predominantly masculine, or the role that is played by sangoma is predominantly feminine, because that's not what it is.
Because you can get a male sangoma type of
and you can get a female nyanga.
Yeah.
So inyanga nakhona isipho, it's not that ukuthi nje you can learn to become
in a sense I'd say it has to be isipho, because I don't think you do radio if you do not have the passion for radio. So it presents itself in a way which it's already fine-tuning a spark or a flame that is already there to ignite a fire. So not like isukela into engekho vele khona angeke kukusukele mhlambe mekubona ukuthi yazi itolerance yakho ayikho, even if mhlambe inyanga yayikhona. Hence why kuthiwa kunezikhwama kini mokuthi leyo nyanga leyo ya 50 years ago yabona ukuthi khona into efunele ingene la kuwena iyangena mokuthi yabona ukuthi lento yona ifanelene nalento yona efisa ukuthi ibe yiyona in this life, in this generation, and so forth.
Yeah. Okay, so you previously said ukuthi isangoma is someone that can connect you also not only to your ancestors but also to God. But now, why is it that born again Christians, they don't believe in izangoma? Because there are a lot of those who utoluguti, they're just like sangoma, no.
Sounds
anything
about white,
cultural, no.
As about white, Western, whatever the term might be. Personally, I mean, it's very, very, very impartial to infringe on ama beliefs abantu. I have no explanation as to why that makes sense more than into that is directly correlating to you being of the soil, belonging to the soil, being of the dust, being made of the dust. That's just how we are. That's what it means being a human, tolerating different beliefs and whatever the case may be. Izangoma, they are not a direct link to God, nor do they replace God. However, they are a path of enlightenment towards a spirit that you can understand is neither white nor brown or black or purple or Muslim or Christian or Judah or whatever the case may be. So if you box it up in that way and you only think of one thing in one perspective, then it starts being very problematic, because you can only imagine one thing in one light, and things don't exist in isolation. Things coexist, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. The one thing I know, Uguti, Ama Christians fight about umngoma so much is that they're like, how can a person tell you your future? Only God knows your future.
Again, I am a Christian myself. I am Roman Catholic. The teachings and the foundation of the Roman Catholic Church subsequently led me to where I am. No hate, no disrespect, whatever it is that they might be teaching. But that's also a narrative. And I think it's very important to be very mindful of the questions and the perspectives and the paradigms we have about here said healers, because essentially izangoma are like modern or rather traditional healers. So when you say, how can Sangoma tell me my future? Clearly, if you'd go to a doctor and you tell them I have mouth ulcers, the next logical thing would to
Girl,
be,
what is that?
okay, I'm just like,
It's an example, but I know, but now I'm thinking, what is
So
that?
if you go to a doctor trained in Western medicine and they tell you, okay, since you have mouth ulcers, the next thing that could possibly manifest is TB. How is that any different than Isangoma sikutshela ukuthi okay, yabo njengoba uphethwe yidolo, the next logical thing is that kunyuke ngohlangothi lakho lonke.
So I'm a manifestations.
Not so much manifestations. I think
trajectories.
yes, I think it's
Okay.
the way that it's placed in your mind, the way that has made you think of it not equal, the way that has made you weigh one more worthy than the other. And the thing is, Western medicine for a very long time, especially when it came and it colonized many of the countries in Africa, it had no competitors, and it made sure that it had no competitors. It made sure that it was the only thing that existed. So much so that if anything existed out of it, it was witchcraft. It was crazy, it was bananas, whatever the case may be, which is why the questions that you are asking are now manifesting. Uti, why do people then believe Uti, this cannot be an extension of that? It's not because of Christianity. Let's not take imfundiso engayona yethu abantu abansundu siyifake kuthina. Cha, indlela esafunzwa ngayo.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it's mainly because we don't know the actual thing behind it. Whereas it's like with medicine, it's we know you go to school for 6 years and we don't know like how.
That's also a very, very ignorant thing to say.
What?
That you don't know, because it sounds almost as if when you're trying to explain what white privilege is and a white person saying, I can surely not understand how you're being offended by what I'm saying.
No,
when you don't know, do
thoroughly.
you not take active
It's
steps?
It is ignorant.
It's very
because
ignorant,
you-
yes. It's
you're
coming from a
judging
place of
something.
oblivion,
Yeah.
yes. So then that means Guti, due course needs to be taken for you to educate yourself, and that is not the responsibility of you. That's not a responsibility of Hlampe, anyone else besides you, because I can be a Catholic, but I can realize Gutias isn't as Catholicism. As much as Catholicism can be one sphere of my life, that's not all I choose to be. As Utandega, I want to be an entirely spiritual human being. So I'll wear what I want to wear. I'll go to places that are of religious worship. I'll go to places that are of spirituality. I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll push the barriers. So in a sense, yes, it's ignorance, but not to make excuses for it. I think at the age of consent, you are very much capable of making the distinguished decision. You know what? I think ukubi Methodist akusangihambeli kahle, or I want to know more than what I can. But black people are very much victims of, sorry to say this, biblical teachings. A quote that sticks with me is, missionaries came into Africa with the Bible. They gave us the Bible and they took the land. When we opened our eyes, we had the Bible and no land.
We're at the heavens. We're looking up at the heavens.
We were looking at the heavens, and our mothers are praying day and night for us to become things within a very Western sphere of belief. So spirituality, especially African spirituality, it challenges a lot of ideas that you thought you had or previously had, or ones that you want to futuristically have.
Yeah.
That was a mouthful.
Yes, sis. Yo, it's a lot. Anyway, moving on to the next question. How do you connect with a person's ancestors?
Oh, that's easy. I think as a diviner, as a person who's constantly I'm always in sync. I'm always in tune. However, I choose what it is that I bring through, because I don't want to be a problematic personally. Excuse me, personally, just as a personal preference, I don't want to be a problematic person telling you here and there, do this and that, whatever the case may be. I'm a strong believer, Guti, you don't go to a dentist unless you have a sore tooth. So till such time you see the need, you see that place where you need to implement growth and substance and believing beyond what it is you know, then you'll come into my place of engagement and allow for me to tell you what it is that I've constantly been engaging on your behalf for. So I mean, I don't have to say a spell. I don't have a broom. I don't have cats at home.
Oh, wow.
I especially don't even need to burn impepo. So maybe that's just my divine gift as Nqoba. But I mean, in spaces that I share with energy and in the environments that I'm in, spirits is there.
So just in terms of the communications with spirits, elders, abantu abadala, just as much as you can, just enlighten us on is it a different dimension? Is it in you? Does it pop up as answers? Like how is it?
I always struggle to answer this because I think if you were asking a way younger me, a way learned me, a way less learned me, a way less knowledgeable me, I think it would have like been something mystical, but because I've lived with it, it's an extension of me. It seems pretty normal to me. In some instances, I have to be partially unconscious to engage with the elders, the angels, the ancestors, the energies, whatever it is that you choose to call it. Most instances, I can be awake, I can hear it, I can see it in my what I like to call my third eye, and sometimes I can even see it visually manifesting before me. So that sounds a bit freaky, but really, when you've lived with it for as long as I have,
you get
just
used to it.
Yeah, it's like a third limb, really.
When did it start?
Okay, now we're talking about me, but that's fine.
Yeah.
For as long as I could remember, I guess I just always felt weird. You know, when you just always feel out of place, you don't know if you're exactly where you need to be because it's just like completely uncomfortable. And I didn't realize that discomfort was caused by everything that was trying to transmit itself through me. So I thought I was the problem.
Yeah.
Not to say, people I share spaces with are the problems, but just to simply say, Guti, I didn't understand my role and my responsibility in the greater good of the community. So I'd say for as long as I could reason and I could see that this is wrong, this is right, this makes me comfortable, this does not make me comfortable, I'd say about 10, maybe even earlier, 7.
That is early. That is like super early. I mean, it's very hard because most people wouldn't know how to deal with such issues, especially at a very tender age as 7,
but
10.
let me be clear. Me knowing it and me doing something about it are two completely different journeys. I knew about it at a very young age, but I only did something about it 4 years ago because I grew up in Indawo, predominantly known as Amajalid. The nearest place of worship was not Abantu Bagashayembe or Izayon, it was the Roman Catholic Church. And that was what sufficed. That's what made me feel whole, that's what made me feel comforted. And because I knew no other field of spirituality or recognition or realization, whatever the case may be, I didn't explore anything beyond that. I just always thought it as I see dead people. That is my favorite movie of all time,
The Sixth Sense.
because
I don't know this movie.
Of course, you're young. She probably knows it.
Well, she is just as old as I am.
She probably saw the line and she went to find a movie. Now,
no, but The Sixth Sense is my favorite movie.
That's a dope movie, man.
I need to watch
see
it.
dead
Then.
people. I always just thought that was me.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
All the time.
So
Wow.
that's what I thought it was until I was like, okay, maybe these dead people have something cute to say,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, well, we living in the 21st century. It's 2019. Things are done differently. Sangomas from back in the days are kind of different to sangomas from now, because back in the days you never used to be able to consult over the phones and whatnot, and people don't really understand. Even religion now, you can actually worship via your phone, your laptop, or whatever online and stuff. So I'm sure like there are a lot of people asking and questioning themselves, Uguti, how can I consult with a sangoma over the phone? This person cannot see me.
There's a very, very simple answer for that. in my understanding and what I think should be a universal understanding, perhaps I'm forcing my beliefs on other people, but you know, for the sake of world peace and ukuthi sikwazi ukuhlalisana sibambisane njengabantu, is to just understand ukuthi spirit manifests itself as many different things. You cannot see spirit, you cannot touch spirit, you cannot taste spirit, so you cannot control how spirit is received by another person. It's easy enough for you to understand if I read this Bible scripture, I will definitely feel the light and the might of the Lord. It's not as easy if you are thinking in traditional senses, and maybe I'm sounding very anti-Western, but in everything that I'm saying, I'm trying to paint a picture. Uguti, we are victims of our circumstances. We are everything that, you know, many years of segregation, apartheid, and ungawazi ukuthi sibuyele kumfundo yethu have made us. It's easier to question some things than other things. We've been made to believe ukuthi things like machines are actively against us and are taking over inkolo yethu njengabantu abamnyama, which to some extent can be argued ukuthi sure they do, but in another sense it's very important to realize ukuthi as things are growing, as things are becoming understood in different times by different people, you need to be able to adapt to certain things that possibly a million years. I'm sure if Sangoma zasemandulo had a radio, they'd do that, because at the end of the day, the most important mandate as a Sangoma or a diviner or a medium is to fulfill what it is that you've been given to do. Hence why if I have a weird dream about someone that I feel like I can trust, I can tell. I will wake up and I'll tell you, because I'm not trying to neglect my role. I'm not trying to not show you what it is that needs to be bought in, whether or not you've paid for consultation. And I think that's why I'm like a poor Sangoma, because I act on good faith. I act on good faith. I'm not trying to
make a quick buck.
You know, I think for me it's more than that. Not to say would see anything against, and sometimes I get very pedantic about, you know, reminding people, okay, like whatever the case may be, because in some instances okay, like here's that moment you're taking severe advantage of this, but in an instance where I will sleep better, and if I were to drop dead in the middle of my sleep and I had to go to my creator, I would be safe in knowing with, you know what, I did everything I could have done for this person.
Has anybody ever given anybody advice and they didn't take it? And
all the time.
Your dream goes on to be true.
All the time. Have you met human beings?
Yes, I have.
Have you it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to witness. I know that makes me sound a bit sadistic.
No, don't worry, me too. I love watching people fuck up off that.
Not even fuck up, but like, I love the doubt that comes in. I love the doubt that my skin color carries. I love how you can just think, okay, this is her skin color, but the language that's coming out is not correlating. Surely she's not a fully fledged Sangoma. And then I love how
they tend to judge just by looking at you. I wouldn't look at you and be like, I know she's a Sangoma.
No, but you can't see here over the radio, but she's got the longest nails. She's got chinchilla on the wrist. The longest.
Liberace. It's Liberace.
She got Liberace, like all stars, like
yes.
You'd be so
skinny jeans or what?
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. People just like judging a book by its cover. Anyway, moving on to the next question. So, in an instant where two people come to you, not at the same time, but
I'm not allowed doctor-patient confidentiality.
Boom.
No, I'm not gonna.
I just want to put it out there. If you came with your boo, or if anyone else ever came with their boo, I am not allowed, and I ask a maximum of 3 times. Sanbon ninjan, siyanamukela emakhosini akahlongwa before singene. Nifisa ukungena nodwa noma ningene kanye kanye. Nithi hayi sobabili, ngithi niyafisa yini ukuthi lo munye ayizwe inkulumo ezophuma kwabakini ngaye o wena ukwazi ukuhlambuluka kwizinto abakini abazokubuza ngazo. Siyavuma, ngithi niyayivuma yini into ezophuma emlomeni wami ngingasakwazi ukuyibamba, ngingasakwazi ukuyivimba, ngingasakwazi ukumonitorisha ukuthi izohlala kanjani komunye.
You break relationships.
I don't break relationships, but I make very sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I make very sure. And that's what I'm saying. Is I ask a maximum of 3 times. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Sure.
But under no circumstances, I think of myself as a Roman Catholic priest. I could probably go to jail before I said, I definitely know that Usman Bani killed someone, because that's not mine. That's not isone engashela sona mina. So if you guys were to come together and for whatever funny pink love reason you guys decided to come, for the reason you guys decided to both consult with me, I will have to be kuzofanele ngiyikhele phezulu inkulumo, ngizama ukubona opening ukuthi lalela but yabo labo girl ohleka nabo kuyenze ukuthi
Sure.
ezinye izinto ukuthi zingabi nomthelelo omuhle kusisi ohlekisana naye. Shintsha indlela owenza ngayo. Hayi manje ma ayikho lento esho but ngithi shintsha indlela owenza ngayo.
Useyagoqa into yakhe manje.
Usayigoqa
Ugoqa kanjani kodwa kumuntu obonayo ukuthi
but
it's
ngithi
gonna
shintsha
harm you.
indlela owenza ngayo. The only time
Humans.
I am it's like I'm a tattoo artist doing couple names on 2 people. It's like no tattoo artist does that. They advise against that. That's why if in fair no
not the
to,
ones we know.
that's why if in fair no to, it's just better to do individual consultations, because you guys might think that you were soulmates, but understand that your
Yeah.
souls lived and experienced beyond the realm that you currently have met in.
Yeah, no, but that was not where my question was going. My question was going to, if people came to you at different times and they had a very similar dream, does it differ, like interpretation of that dream, does it differ from the person? Like, for example, Sila and I having nearly the same dream, will it be a different interpretation for us because of we are individuals?
Definitely.
And we've got nothing in connection.
There's constantly always old wives' tales that dictate ukuthi, if upapa fruity, surely there's someone
Yeah.
pregnant. But spirit manifests itself, and that's the most beautiful and magnificent and the most mind-fucking thing about spirit. Ukuthi, it never repeats itself. The same way thunder and lightning never strikes the same place twice. There is a foundation laid by old wives' tales and folk tales. This means that, but surely it cannot mean the same thing for 2 people.
Yeah.
That cannot, for me and my experiences, and maybe for other healers and other herbalists, possibly it's presented itself in other ways. But for me personally, as Ugogo, I even with my family, I tell them, okay, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. Come in, let's consult. I'll tell you where spirit wants me to go.
Your family actually has to come to Iskoidlo Sako and consult with you. You don't just tell them live like this as well.
I mean, if my family and I all went satwasa sonke, then I would do it in that way. But since me no one getting into a sin, ngazidla ngedwa inkambi. Ngivuka ngedwa ekuseni, ngigeza amanzi abandayo ngedwa. Ngiyithwasa. That is something that you cannot put a price on. That is something that is well beyond you being my sister. I think you need to realize with me, I carry the wisdom of the elders and the power of the elders. So respect it.
Yeah. Do you ever doubt your work? Like, do you ever feel like, oh, shoot, I just...
No, because I would have never chosen it. I always say, hey, Yazi, I feel like I'm a mother with a newborn and I'm so antsy. If I could give my newborn to someone and never come back. That's how I explain having abantu abadala, or more specifically idlozi. Ngingakubambisa idlozi erobotini ngihambe ngingaphinde ngibuye.
Like, that's possible.
Kuyenzeka. I don't doubt my work because it's been the most trying, the most demanding, the most uncomfortable. It's broken me. In fact, it breaks me every single day when I wake up. So there's no doubt I can have in myself, because I literally brick by brick have to build up my confidence again, because it takes all of me. It's very, very selfish. As wise as it is, there's a price to pay for everything.
Yeah.
I constantly am paying several prices.
So there's a person on Facebook who wanted to ask a question. he was asking Uti, is it possible to become a Sangoma with no calling? Like, for example,
then
if you just want...
umpuphe wesangoma also
we
umpuphe
fake.
angeke ngisho ukuthi uyifake ake ngithi mhlambe abantu abadala ubakhuthalele uyabathanda ngeke ngicacise ukuthi nje kade ngishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi ziningi idalwa sinamagama amaningi kuye kuthiwa ithongo kuye kuthiwa idalwa kuye kuthiwa ithunywa kuye kuthiwa abantu abadala kuye kuthiwa idlozi but umuntu mezodecide yena ngokuthanda kwakhe ukuthi ufisa ukuthi abe isangoma lo muntu usuke enganalo idlozi because idlozi as the word suggests liyadlokomela into ekufosayo sweli kudlokoza sweli dlokomele wena ukuthi lifuna umsebenzi walo. So I'm not trying to look down on anyone who has an aspiration to be at the forefront of traditional spirituality, but reevaluate. Maybe there's another role you can play.
Yeah.
But
so that's why it's a calling.
That's why it's a calling. Ngoba akekho umuntu ongahlala nje aqwashe ebusuku acabanga ukuthi oh Jay, I just want to be a sangoma. I just want to go through all of it. Ki. No.
Go through the journey.
Jay, you know.
Fun times. Yay.
Yeah, no.
Well, one last question. No, actually, this is not the last question.
It is. I need to go home. I live in the farms, you guys. And your hosts are keeping me here.
Well, what do you think is most important for us Zulus to know, especially about Umgom?
Nothing.
At all.
I think that's the best answer I can give. Never walk in with any expectations. Never walk in with any preconceived notions. Understand ukuthi when you are consulting or coming together with that part of yourself, uyavuma ukuthi this is something I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So what do I expect Zulu people to think of podiatrist? Nothing, because that's a foot doctor. You would know nothing about your foot as a journalist, not so? You would go to another learned person, a knowledgeable person. So I think that's very important. Not to strip yourself of your dignity or your knowledge, but understand just as a way of life. It's a servitude, it's a calling, it's a vocation. So when you walk into spaces and consultations or whatever the case may be, understand ukuthi yazi lento ayazi or lento abazomkhombisa yona angisho sizangoma mhlawumbe azenziwa amaqanda emphakathini because khona vele izangoma nje ezi ngekho right emoyeni ezenzweni whatever the case may be. But when elakhe ithongo kumele ikukhombe ukuthi hamba olashwa laphaya and don't expect anything. Don't think you know whatever it is that you heard from a previous healer. Do not walk into it. Do not walk into that hearsay space with that energy.
Yeah, well, last question. So what do you tell a person who has the same gift but is still in denial and just like, I can't.
There's nothing I can tell that person because I think a large part of my confidence comes from the fact that I have to build myself up again. I can't, that's not a skill I can teach someone until someone is ready to completely lose themselves and have that energy to then rebuild themselves. Then there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can say. All I can motivate and write, because I think I write better than I can speak, is just do you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Izizwe. Hopefully we're going to be having you coming in again sometime. Where can people get you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I have not changed my Instagram name yet because I'm still a baddie. Yes,
oh, wow. Baddie Sangoma.
So on Instagram, I'm at Taz Hlongwa. On Twitter, I'm at Love God Herself. On Facebook, I'm at Tandega Charlie Hlongwa. But I'm most active on Instagram. I host like live Q&As. I ask questions. Like I'm very open to answering specific questions without even receiving like instant remuneration for them, because I believe it would see, as my name suggests, it's just to conquer and to feed a nation. So I'm not stingy with my knowledge. So ngiyacela guys, ningangixwayi. Even if you guys think like I literally have the weirdest DMs, but I try to answer all of them because I don't believe in coincidences.
You get the spirits via DM.
I mean, if you DM'd me, maybe you would see. I mean,
okay, maybe. Find out.
Find out. But yeah, I'm just very open to sharing what it is I have because I think there's enough love within this vessel to go around for everyone. So, ningangeni, I know I have RBF. I know nginehleli nje vele sidalwa angizenzi ngiphethwe ikhehla.
Oh wow, akubonakala radio bye.
But yeah, guys. But yeah, niphile, nibuze, ningaxwayi. More than anything, the one thing I understand more especially about Nguni people is that they need to break down who they are in order to build up what our forefathers wished and wanted us to be. So don't be afraid to lose it all because what you'll gain back is irreplaceable.
So if a person wants to come consult with you directly, where do they go?
They go Ekaya. I live in the south of Durban in Ilovu. But all of that can be found on my Instagram. I'm most active there. I have my price list there. I have my WhatsApp business. I specifically only deal with clients on my WhatsApp business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Model
not on my personal WhatsApp. I ain't trying to see y'all drink me my champagne.
Wow.
I said what I said.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nqoba Izizwe. I hope was on Nqoba zonke Izizwe.
Sure thing.
And thank you for tuning in. Right now, we are going to carry on with the show right here on Radio DR. .co.za. It's www.radiodr.co.za, and we shall see you on the flip side.